Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Malice by John Gwynne. So, this is going to be off the cuff. It's going to be completely unscripted and spoiler free. So, if you haven't read it, you're safe to stick around and listen. So, first of all, this is the first book of the Faithful and the Fallen series. And this is the first book I've read by John Gwynne. And so, I'm going to talk about what I liked about it, what I think could have been better, and then give my overall rating. So what I liked, there was a lot to like about this book. I mean, it was really good. I would think it was his first book that he's written, as far as I remember. Um, and it was good. Like it was a good debut. Um, I liked the characters. I liked the setting. I think the setting was great. There was a lot. It was quite complex story, I would say. I had a hard time remembering people, but the main characters were good. I liked Corbin. He's a young kid who is growing up in this town, this kingdom called Dunkerque, and it's kind of a coming of age story. That's the way I see it. He's this I think he's 12 or 14, and he's dealing with typical stuff you would deal with in adolescence, like bullying and finding out who you are. And I thought it was well done. Like he seemed like a real kid, and you're always wondering like how is he going to progress, and he wants to be a warrior, and there's he's learning how to fight and all this stuff. He's learning swordsmanship, and it was just interesting seeing him grow. um Same with Veratus. I really like the character of Veratus. He might be my favorite character. He uh he is the son of this other kind of baron, I guess, of this other land. Forgetting the names of the lands, but he becomes the first sword, or I think the first sword, or he becomes kind of the right hand man of Prince Nathair, who is I'm forgetting the names of places. I do that a lot. I always have to refer to the index or the glossary. Nathair, he is the Prince of Tenebril, and his dad Aquilus is the king. And Veratus becomes the kind of the right hand man to this guy, and he goes on adventures with him. And I really liked his character. Um, so the characters were good. There's more characters too I could talk about, like Castel and Cywin, or Kywin, however you say it. So many good characters, and I thought that was a good strength of this book. Another thing was the setting. I thought the world felt alive. It felt it felt lived in. It felt like there's more to give. There's more, like, I want to know about it. And that's always exciting in fantasy, and that's what you want in a fantasy. And I think John Gwynne delivered in that front. Another thing I liked was the um the setup and the plot. So like I said, it's pretty broad ranging plot. There's lots of things going on. The the basic premise for the story is that something called the God War is coming. And this is kind of a looming, almost like, well, there's like a prophecy that the gods, Elion and Azeroth, are going to fight against each other on Earth. And so there's going to be like people sent, or like creatures sent by them onto Earth. And there's going to be two champions on either side: the Black Sun for Azeroth, the baddie, and um, the Bright Star for Elion. And they're going to war on Earth. And it's sort of a prophecy of who is the Black Sun, who is the Bright Star. And there's lots of signs of the coming of this war. And just as the story starts, there's a bunch of strange things happening in the world. Like the giants are returning, and they're becoming more prominent, and they're fighting humans. and there's signs like the white worms, these creatures are being sighted, and the stones are bleeding, and ancient artifacts are going missing, like the axe. Um, and I think these are intriguing, and I like the slow build up where you're wondering what, like there's these weird things happening, like where is it going to lead? And now, like with all these political happenings going on, there's a lot of political intrigue in this book, which I also love. Who is going to emerge as the bright star, and who's going to emerge as the black sun? And I have my theories. Maybe I can talk about them in other videos that are spoilers. But um, I think it's interesting, and I think I'm excited to see how it plays out in the next books. I've already started the next one, so I'm about 70 pages in, and I'm enjoying it. So it's a good series so far. I will say one more thing I liked is that um, there were some things in this book that I didn't see coming, and that's always good. Um, Certain character deaths, I won't go in detail, but things like that, or revelations that I didn't expect, didn't see coming. So it was enjoyable. I really enjoyed most of this book. Some things that I think I didn't like as much. One of them is, while I did enjoy Corbin's kind of seeing him grow as a young kid, I think it was too slow. There was parts of his story that dragged, parts where I think like this could go faster. You know what I mean? Um sometimes in the middle of this book I was a little bored, not bored, but wishing for the plot to move forward a little quicker. And um but other than that, it was good. Like that was probably the only thing I have to say negatively about this book, is that I felt the pacing dragged a little bit in some places. Um, but it's not necessarily I was bored. Like I wasn't bored for sure. It just um all the stuff with Corbin, I wanted it to go faster in the middle, but it wasn't boring at all because you're constantly flipping POVs between characters. So you jump to Veratus or Evnis or Castle, and so there's not long sections of the book that are boring. Hardly any of it's boring. Just some things I wish moved a little quicker with Corbin's story. I forgot to mention one thing I liked as well, as the action in this book. That, to me, is John Gwynne's greatest strength in this story, is the action, and it's action packed. Like this is action after action of, well, yeah, just action after action, and there's so many great action scenes in this book. So such great descriptions of warfare and fighting that um I think he did a really good job of that. And they're interesting to read. There's lots of fight scenes in this book. I don't even know how many. There's a ton. And he did very well with it. I very much enjoyed reading those scenes. So overall, I give this book a 4 out of 5. It's not a perfect book. It is like no book is perfect, but it was very enjoyable. I will definitely be continuing the series. And from what people have said, that this book is the worst one of the series, and they only get stronger. And if that's the case, like this is going to be an amazing series. I already love what John Gwynne has done with this, and I am very excited to keep reading. It's an interesting story. It's action packed. It is exciting, and it's well worth the read if you're a fantasy fan. So my first introduction to John Gwynne, I love it. I'm excited, and here's to more reading. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you around.